Welcome to a postseason edition of Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Bussin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford. This is what we've been waiting 7 weeks for. It's a double elimination tournament to crown a Battle Axe champion, Bobby.
Yeah, it's going to be a great tournament. We got a lot of great competitors here. And Joey, this is what they're going to be fighting for all night.
Yeah, it is the Battle Axe Championship Cup, and it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, people have been working for 7 weeks, Joey, to build up for this cup, and they're definitely looking to bring their A game. They've been working on their technique. They've been working on really honing in their throw and eliminating the mistakes, because the person that can come out on top gets to take this baby home, and I know there's a lot of competitors that can and want to as well.
Yeah, and absent from the tournament this year is the defending champion, Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. He won the belt last season. Now it's a cup.
Yep.
And it's up for grabs. The Magic Man not competing in this postseason. Let's take a look at the bracket. Leroy Kedley, the #1 overall seed. He awaits the winner between Gina Feenstra and Nancy Kramer. Then it's Ann Welp taking on Eric Schizzle. Justin Smith will take on Beth Jen. And Michelle Frummelt will take on Jill Kedley.
Yeah, so we are guaranteed to have a new champion here in the Fall League. It's going to be a tremendous tournament here, Joey. There's going to be a lot of great matchups, and I'm looking forward to getting it started.
First up, it's going to be Gina Feenstra, and she will be taking on Nancy Kramer. This should be a good one.
We're going to have our own version here of a play-in game, Joey. So Gina already in the hole, 0-1 down Nancy Kramer. It is a best out of 3 in every match here, Joey. So first person to get to 2 victories will go on to the next round.
So the pressure on here for Gina Feenstra. She needs to win this one to force a game 3 with Nancy Kramer if she wants to stay alive in the A bracket. If not, it's down to the B bracket where it's win or go home.
And we know this early on in the A bracket, Joey, to be sent down to the B bracket, it's a very, very long journey to get back to the A bracket. The name of the game, Joey, is to stay in the A bracket as long as humanly possible, so you don't have to play that many games in the B bracket with your back up against the wall.
No doubt, at a certain point, fatigue can definitely play a factor when you're throwing that axe over and over again, especially with the entire season on the line. Great start here for Nancy Kramer. She quickly builds a 3-point advantage.
Yeah, Nancy's done a really good job of improving her game, much more consistent throw.
Throw number 3. Nancy's up by 3.
Little wobble there, but it's stuck in the board. It looks like that's going to be a 4 and possibly another 3 there for Gina Feenstra. We're going to get a closer look here.
3 Gina.
But rule to 3, so 8-12 going into the 4th throw. Gina needs to make some throws to come back, and Nancy just needs to stay in the driver's seat and keep putting the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, Gina Feenstra trailing by 4, but still a long way to go in this one. She's just got to keep her composure and start finding her rhythm. And there it is, right on cue.
Right on cue. There's a nice bullseye there from Gina Feenstra. So she's able to get 2 points on Nancy Kramer. Make this a 2-point game going into the 5th throw. Let's see if Gina can follow up with another nice throw.
Interesting decision here for Feenstra to make. She can no longer get 6 on the center bullseye. We'll see if she tries to go outside for another bullseye. Instead, she throws it right down Broadway. That might be a 5 if the bottom of that axe is into the 5 ring. Going to get a closer look here.
4 Gina.
Oh, but ruled a 4. So very, very close call there. Gina with a chance to gain another point. She knows how important it is. She gets a closer look, but elects not to get a second opinion. And they will switch sides, 18-20 going into the 6th throw.
So Nancy Kramer, 5 throws away from sending Gina Feenstra down to the B bracket. We'll see if Feenstra can make a comeback here.
Well, these are the high-pressure throws that we've been talking about, Joey, and it looks like Gina might have got a 5 there and ruled a 5, so she's able to get another point, make this a 1-point game. But that's what weeks 1 through 7 have been, Joey. This just practice for these high-pressure throws. We've seen so many matches come down to just 1 throw, and the tournament should be no exception.
Things are tightening up here between Nancy Kramer and Gina Feenstra.
Wow.
Wobble there from Kramer, but it sticks into the wood. We'll have to see how that one scores. It's a 5, which Kramer needed badly at that point. She had been stuck in the vortex, and now she gets out of it to extend her lead back to 2.
Well, you know what they say, Joey, it's better to be lucky than good, and Nancy got a very good stroke of luck there. That axe sticking in the board for a 5. But that drop would have been devastating and would allow Gina to take over and be in the driver's seat.
So it
Row
remains
9,
a
Nancy is up
2-point
by
lead for
2.
Nancy Kramer with 2 throws to go.
And again, we're not in kill shot territory here, but with the way that Nancy's been throwing, and I guess they both have their bullseyes available as well, so she's just got to hope that Nancy remains in the vortex, but she does not, and that looks like that's going to be a 5 and a
Nancy.
4 there for Gina. So a 3-point lead. Now we start thinking about the
Alright,
kill shot
last
here, Joey.
row. Nancy is up by
Absolutely. You
3.
have to hope that Kramer gets a 3 or less if
Right.
you don't go for the kill shot. So I think going for the kill shot would be the right call here. We'll see what
Well, you can see
Gina
she's-
Feenstra elects to do.
Well, she was thinking about it. She's going to elect to play the board. I didn't see any indication that she was going for the kill shot, but I like the move of waiting for Nancy to throw, but you
5
got to be
Gina.
aggressive in the A bracket. Go for that kill shot. If you're going to lose, go down to the B bracket either way.
Very
Might as well go down
nice.
swinging.
So Nancy Kramer
40-42.
starting the postseason with a victory over Gina Feenstra, 42-40.
Yeah, so Nancy Kramer advances in the A bracket, and pretty nice game for her. She did have that 3 to get the night started, but no bullseyes on her card. But what I think that she really wants to take away from this match is consistent throws. She had a lot of those 4s were very close to being 5s, but the axe was sticking in the wood pretty consistently. It wasn't kind of an erratic axe that was all over the place. So she did a good job of maintaining some consistency. And then for Gina, she just had to be aggressive on that 10th throw. She had to go for that kill shot. She elected to play the middle of the board. She did come away with a 5 for a nice score of 40, but that 2 on her second throw, she did have that nice bullseye there on the 4th throw to really kind of bring herself back into this game. But we know if you want to come away with that cup, you got to be aggressive.
One match down and many more still to go in this postseason. Ann Welp now will be taking on Eric the Scope Shizzle, a former champion here on Battle Axe.
Yeah, Eric throwing with his left hand already has a 1-0 advantage over Ann Welp. But Ann, another competitor that's done a really good job of improving her game. You can see there her standards are high, shaking her head after that first throw.
3
And smooth as ever is Eric the Scope. It looks like that's going to be at least a 5, Joey.
and, well,
Cody's going to get a look there, and it's going to be
Eric.
ruled a 5.
can't see it because of the
So
shadow.
a nice start here for Eric the Scope over Ann Welp, who's got to be feeling the pressure right about now. She
Stars
needs
wins
to
that
win
with
here
6.
to avoid the B bracket.
Yeah, and then Eric, for his left-handed throw, that was a really nice release point to get the night started here on Battle Axe. And then looks like that's another 4, and you can see there's no room for air. Anne's shaking her head after that 4. Another nice 5
4
there for
and
Eric
5
the Scope.
So in the blink of an eye, Eric the Scope builds a 3-point lead over Ann Welp.
And that's how it can happen. You know, even with these new rules where the bullseye is eliminated once you hit it, you have to start going for those other ones. If you stay consistent inside the middle of the board and you're hitting 5s while your opponent's hitting 4s, it'll take a little bit longer, but that gap will increase. And it looks like a couple 4s
4
there.
and 4.
So 14-11 going into the 4th throw here.
Throw number 4. Eric is
Still
up
a
by
long
3.
way to go in this one. Ann Welp with a little work to do, though, to get back in it.
Yeah, I think it's something for Ann. Even if she found a 5, you know, she would feel a little victory right there. At least matching points with Eric, so let's see how this plays. It's really close, man. And looks like that's going to be
4
a
and
4 there
4.
for the Scope.
All right,
So
throw
Ann,
5.
again,
Eric
leaving
is up
some
by
points there
3.
on the board. 2 4s from Eric, and her 4s were pretty close to being 5s. She could have made up a couple points in those last couple throws.
No doubt, but she is hanging around. Eric the Scope unable to take advantage of the force from Ann Welp over the last couple of throws.
5,
These two
Eric.
stuck in the vortex, but
Let's see if
that one
maybe
looks like
that
it's a 5 for Shizzle. Cody's going to get a closer look at
Going
this
to
one
down
from
3
Ann Welp and see
sorry.
if it's a 3 or a 4. It's a 3,
All right.
and it's a 5 for Eric the Scope.
Touch 'em up,
So
switch 'em up.
a devastating turn of events there for Ann Welp. It's now a 5-point lead for Shizzle.
Yeah, you saw how close that was there on the side cam. It was very close to being a 4 there for Ann Welp. But those 3s are not going to get it done here in the A bracket versus Eric the Scope. Of course, Eric is patient as ever, always waiting for his opponent to throw. Looks like a 4 there
4
for
and
Ann.
5
That's going to be a
Eric.
5 there for Eric. Surprisingly, though, on Eric's card, not a bullseye yet. You know, we're going in the 7th
Row
throw. That's
7. Eric
got to
is
be a
up by
little
6.
concerning to the Scope.
Yeah, sometimes there's just a little rust when you get things started in the postseason. You got to get out there and throw a few axes
Correct.
before you get into rhythm. There's just a different feel when you're playing in the postseason. There's all of these emotions that come with it. And
Maybe he's saving them up.
yeah, I think we'll see plenty of bullseyes from Eric the Scope this postseason. That one
Right
might
on
be
cue.
right there.
Yeah, it might be the first one we've seen here. At the very least, it'll be a 5, and Ann was definitely hoping that was going to be a 5, but it was ruled a 4. Very, very close. You've seen with Ann's throws, all of those 4s were very close to being 5s. That 3 was very close to being a 4, so she's off by just a little bit to get the night started.
So for Ann Welp, you want to just try and get a bullseye or a 5 here and then think about that kill shot, but that one gets away from her. Eric the Scope going outside, a great opportunity here for the Scope to try and get into rhythm with those outside bullseyes.
Yeah, great point there, Joey. You know, he's in command of this match, so he's using his technique and using his strategy to start working those outside bullseyes. Fortunately for Ann, she was able to pick up a point, but I believe she did just call for the kill shot here, Joey, down by 7. Love the aggressive call.
No guts, no glory. Ann Welp going up for the kill shot.
Well, if anything, yeah, she is off the mark there, but if anything, you're getting those throws done early so you can have those for muscle memory, and if you know you're going to need those in the back pocket when she goes down to the B bracket. And might as well go for that kill shot again. Love it.
Absolutely. This is all about preparing yourself for success later on down the road here in the postseason.
Oh, we've seen it before. Ooh, that's very
Great shot
close.
there from Ann Welp. I think she got it.
We're going to have to get a closer look here. It's always tricky how that blade hits into the wood. Cody's going to get a closer look here. Ooh.
Miss Ann.
And that's the tail of the tape for Ann's night here. Just missed that kill shot. You can see as she pulls the axe out of the board there, she was off by just a little bit. And Eric with a nice bullseye.
So Eric the Scope, the victor over Ann Welp, 46-30. He gets this one in a sweep.
Yeah, so Ann Welp will go down to the B bracket. I don't think that scorecard really is indicative of how well she threw in this match. Those 4s are very close to being 5s. That 3 on her 5th throw was really close to being 4. And then she was very close to hitting that kill shot there on her 10th throw. So the 30 is really not indicative of how well Ann Welp has thrown in the weeks leading up to this tournament and in that particular game, but she'll go down to the B bracket where she'll have some work to do. But for her, you know, she went for those kill shots on the 9th and 10th throw. She started to get really aggressive with that. It's definitely something that can be to her advantage later on in some tougher matchups. And then for Eric the Scope, he advances in the A bracket with a nice score of 46, but I'm sure he'd like to see a little more bullseyes on that scorecard.
We are just getting the postseason started here on Battle Axe. Much more still to come. Stay tuned here on MC22. Welcome back to Postseason Battle Axe here at the Boston Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque, where it's a double elimination tournament to crown a champion, and it's off to a nice start.
It is, yeah. We saw a couple good matches here to get the night started. Nancy Kramer advances in the A bracket, as well does Eric the Scope Shizzle, 46-30 over Ann Welp. And here's an updated look at the A bracket. So again, you see Eric the Scope Shizzle advancing over Ann Welp. And then Nancy Kramer will face Leroy Kedley. But as you look on that bracket there, Joey, we have Justin Smith versus Beth Jen, Michelle Fremel versus Jill Kedley. Those are some great matchups and will definitely be some heavy hitters.
Yeah, it's fun, too, to look at the bracket and think about potential matchups down the road. We could have some really good ones in store.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get to our next matchup here in the A bracket. It's going to be Beth Jen taking on Justin Smith.
Yeah, so Justin, with Matt's absence, comes the number 2 seed here, and Beth is the 8th seed. She's already down 0-1 to Justin Smith, but she gets her match started off nicely there with a 5, it looks like.
Beth got very adventurous throughout the regular season, trying to work on those outside bullseyes. I think she's a very dangerous 8 seed.
I think that's a very well said, Joey, and as you can see there from that side cam, that was not popping through, so that is a 4 there for Beth Jen. But yeah, to your point, she's a very dangerous 8 seed competitor. And we'll see how she's honed in her throw, see if those outside bullseyes are a little more comfortable come tournament time. But first, you got to get the first one, right?
Justin Smith might have that first one right there. Cody's going to come in and get a closer look.
Yeah, I think he's got it on the bottom part of that blade and ruled the bullseye there. So Justin with a nice 11-9 lead going into the third throw. Just a real consistent release point, real consistent thrower is Justin Smith.
We'll see how aggressive he gets here with a 2-point lead. Probably just going to go right down the middle, but who knows?
You see that axe kind of just sailing on Beth just a little bit. And Justin with another nice consistent throw. It's going to be a 5.
Justin Smith in the driver's seat now, extending his lead to 3. Beth Jen needs to find that center ring.
Well, that's the problem with going for those outside bullseyes. If you don't hit them, it's almost like a death by 1,000 cuts, because if your opponent, like Justin Smith, is consistently hitting the middle of that board, you're just slowly increasing his lead every time you don't hit that. But another nice throw there by both competitors.
We'll see if this is a bullseye for Beth Jen. It's not. Instead, it's a 5 to keep it a 3-point game, but a much better throw there from Jen. She needed that.
Absolutely. And just like we saw with Ann Welp, that was very, very close to being a bullseye there for Beth Jen. It's got to be very frustrating to get that close. And there's another 5, but again, she knows that's not what she needs.
5 Beth, 5 Justin.
And it looks like that would have been a bullseye in the old rules, but it's another 5 there for Justin as well. So 26-23, more than happy to trade points as Justin Smith as they switch sides.
23,
Beth Jen needs to get hot here in the second half. Otherwise, it's down to the B bracket.
Well, we saw her leading up to the tournament here, Joey. She got hot on the last few throws in a match versus Justin Smith and ended up coming out the victor. So she's looking to repeat that history, and Justin's looking to avoid it.
Well, Smith and Jen both just missing the 5 ring. Jen getting a closer look, and she's not going to contest that. It is a 4, so still a 3-point game with now 4 throws to go.
Yeah, every throw is heightened there. It looks like she's got her first bullseye of the match here.
So putting a little pressure on Justin Smith with this throw.
Ooh, and it looks like Justin is off the mark, and that's going to be a 4, because I don't think it's popping through on the left-hand side of that blade.
This could be a 2-point swing here.
And it is.
So just like that, Beth Jen gets within a point. 3 throws to go.
Well, let's see how Justin responds here. Beth has come back and within this game, made it a 1-point game. You can see the look on her face. She knows that she's gotten closer in this match here. It looks like that's going to be a 5. Interesting, electing not to go for that outside bullseye, and what a response from Justin Smith.
Bullseye Justin.
So Smith answers the bullseye from Jen with a bullseye of his own. He extends that lead back to 2. Might be time for Jen to think about trying to get an outside bullseye.
Yeah, you can see she's definitely thinking about it. But again, playing the middle of that board, you just saw Justin with that nice bullseye that he threw. You know he's going to elect to play the middle of the board. I think she was just waiting for Justin to throw there just to kind of see what kind of points she needed. But elects to play the middle of the board.
5 and 5.
And ironically, hits a flush bullseye there for a 5.
All right, last throw. Justin's
but this is the type of situation, Joey. Do you go for the outside bullseye hoping that Justin hits a 4? Or do you go for the kill shot? And she had just called the kill shot. So she made the decision, Joe.
Well, it's going to come down to this. A kill shot with a spot in the A bracket on the line for Beth Jen.
And I like the aggressive call. I mean, you can't rely on your opponent to make a mistake. We say that all the time. I really would have liked her to wait for Justin to throw, but Beth is off the mark. And it looks like Justin got adventurous going for that outside bullseye. Why not?
Yeah, no reason not to after Jen missed the kill shot. And he hit it.
That's awesome.
So Justin Smith with an impressive start to his postseason. He takes down Beth Jen 51-43 to make it a sweep.
Yeah, that was a heavyweight bout for sure. Beth Jen did a nice job of coming back in this game. She had that bullseye there on her 7th throw to make it a 1-score game. But Justin with just a tremendous response. Bullseyes on the 2 of his last 3 throws for a really impressive score of 51. He advances in the A bracket. If he's throwing like this, there's only 2 4s on his scorecard. If he's starting to throw like this, he could be a dark horse competitor, come away and take home that trophy. And then for Beth Jen, she's going to go down to the B bracket. Unfortunately for her, she was just a little erratic off the mark here to get the night started. Just couldn't find her rhythm. She did a nice job of fighting and staying in it. But for her, she'll go down to the B bracket where she'll have to make her way back.
Yeah, she played really well in the second half of this one. Here's Beth Jen on her loss to Justin Smith.
Justin threw really well. Probably one of the best matches I've seen him throw this season. So really happy for him. For me, it's just about really getting in that 5 ring. A couple early throws, hit the 4s, so that kind of put me behind the 8 ball to begin things. And then could never really catch up from there. So moving forward, I think just relaxing, making sure that I'm set before I throw, not trying to rush anything, and really just trying to get into a rhythm of the match. You know, if I can get into a rhythm throw to throw, I think that'll benefit me because that's what I'm used to doing. having pace a little bit in between the throws. So if I can just figure out that timing with my pre-throw, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, it felt like she was starting to get into rhythm there in that second half. It just ended up being too little too late.
Exactly.
Well, next up, we've got Michelle Frummelt. She'll be taking on Jill Kedley.
Yeah, so two dangerous competitors just getting their matches started here. So 0-0 to 0-0. Jill Kedley and Michelle Frummelt get their match started. Looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Michelle. And a nice 5 there from Jill Kedley.
5 Jill, 4 Michelle.
Yeah, Kedley just missing that center bullseye. A nice
Throw
start
number
for her.
2.
Well, both these throwers have done a really nice job of improving their game. Jill, very consistent, plays the middle of that board, aggressive going for those outside bullseyes as well. And then we know she's not afraid to go for a kill shot as well, but nice bullseye
Jill,
there on her
4
second
Michelle.
throw.
Well, no jitters from Jill Kedley
Number
to start
3,
this
Jill is up by
postseason. A
3.
flush bullseye extends her lead to 3.
No, it looks like she's throwing with a purpose. And then for Michelle Frummelt, she's just locked in on that board. She's just got to find that 5 and 6 ring. You can see there, just a little off on her release point, kind of
5
letting go a
Jill,
little too
4
early.
Michelle.
Got to throw with that confidence, and another nice 5 there from Jill
Number
Kedley.
4, Jill's up by 4.
Jill Kedley now up by 4 over Frummelt. Last postseason, Frummelt made a nice run. We'll see if she can get back on track here against Kedley.
Yeah, finished 3rd place in the tournament last year. And another nice throw there by
5
Jill
4
Kedley. So
Michelle.
starting this thing off on fire is Jill Kedley.
Throw number 5, Jill's up
Michelle
by
Frummelt
5.
still stuck in the vortex, trailing by 5. She could really use a 5 or a 6 right here.
Right, I think that's something even just mentally for her if she can see that 5 or 6 hit. And Jill with her first poor throw of the match here, and then Michelle right on cue hits a
Poor
nice
Jill.
5, possibly a bullseye if it's popping through on the right-hand side. Getting a closer look here from our action cam. It doesn't look like that's
5
popping through, Joe.
Michelle.
But still a great throw from Michelle Frummelt to get a
All right.
point back
Step
on
up
Jill
from up.
Kedley.
Yeah.
It'll be a 4-point advantage for Kedley heading into the second half.
Yeah, you're right, Joey. Just mentally to be able to get a point on Jill going into the turn. We'll see if Jill can erase that 4 that she threw, or if she's going to be unfortunately stuck in the vortex. That's going to be close. We're going to have to get a closer look here. And that looks like that's going to be a 4 there for
4
Michelle.
Squeeze by it.
If it's popping through on the right-hand side, it's so tricky with that blade.
5
And rule to
Jill.
5.
So Jill Kedley gets that point right back. She's back up by 5 now. Just 4 throws to go.
Well, we could see there, Joey, it was very, very close, but
Score
she'll take the 5.
is 25.
You always got to rush up
30
and
Jill.
take that axe out of the board real quick just so no one else challenges it. And looks like that. Just an inconsistent release point here from Michelle to get the night started.
4
And
Michelle.
that looks like it's almost a carbon copy throw for
Getting
Jill.
around the edge. Yep. And 4
But this time it's going to be a 4, so no harm, no foul, no
Number
ground
8,
lost.
Jill is up by 5.
Michelle Frummelt has 3 throws to go, still looking for her first bullseye. It's not going to come on that one. Jill Kedley with an opportunity to extend her lead, and she will do just that.
4 and 5.
Another 5 for Kedley. She is really playing well.
Yeah.
She's up by 6 now with 2 throws to go. Might be
Number
time for
9.
Frummelt to think about the kill
Up by
shot.
6.
Yeah, I'd like to see Michelle go for the kill shot. Although she has had quite the erratic release point from her axe. Maybe she just wants to work on that, knowing there's 2 more games to play here, or potentially 2 more games to play. But for
4
Jill, she's just
4
done a tremendous
Michelle.
job being in the driver's seat, making aggressive throws, keeping the pressure on Michelle. And there we see the call there from Michelle.
Last throw.
Going for the kill shot.
Going up on the left. Kill shot call.
Jill electing to stay down. I kind of wouldn't mind for her to go for the kill shot as well, just get that practice in, knowing that the game's pretty well in hand.
Yeah, the issue, though, if she goes for it and Michelle hits
Jill.
it,
It's true.
then you lose. So I think it's probably the right call there to just get a couple points and put it away. It's Jill Kedley, the victor in game number 1 over Michelle Frummelt, 47-37.
Yeah, just a tremendous matchup by Jill Kedley in her first match of the night in this A bracket tournament here. You can see she did have that bullseye there on her second throw, but just really consistent fives. She did have 4 fours on there. The axe kind of got away from her a little bit after the turn, but really consistent release point, and she was throwing with a purpose. She came out of the gate really hot, so a nice score of 47. And then for Michelle, it was just kind of an erratic release point with her axe. You could see that she was kind of letting go a little early and then holding on to it a little bit. She didn't find that consistent release point that really puts up some impressive numbers, and we've seen her done in the past. But we'll see how the rest of this match shapes up and let everyone know.
Much more postseason battle axe still to come here on MC22. We'll bring it to you straight ahead. Welcome back to Battle Axe here at the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. We are here to crown a Battle Axe champion in the double elimination postseason tournament. It's off to an exciting start, and we've got a long way to go, Bobby.
Absolutely. We've seen some tremendous matches so far, some competitors coming out the gate really hot. The B bracket's starting to form, but as the B bracket forms, Joey, so does the A bracket as well. So let's take a look at this right here.
Leroy Kedley, the number 1 seed, advancing over the 10 seed, Nancy Kramer. He'll take on the former champion, Eric the Scope Shizzle. That should be a good one. Also advancing, we just saw Justin Smith taking down Beth Jen, and Jill Kedley advanced past Michelle Frummelt.
Yeah, so Jill was able to complete the task and send Michelle Frummelt down to the B bracket. She'll face Justin Smith. That should be a tremendous matchup. And Leroy Kedley versus Eric the Scope. Can't wait for it.
Should be an exciting finish to this postseason tournament. Let's get to our next matchup in the A bracket. It's Jill Kedley. She'll be taking on Justin Smith.
Yeah, so both these competitors came out the gate really hot. This is the first game of their match. But Justin did a really nice job playing the consistent middle part of that board. And Jill did a great job of throwing up 5s and 6s, being aggressive.
Yeah, Justin Smith with the best round thus far in the postseason. He had a round of 51 to send Beth Jen down to the B bracket earlier.
Great way to
And Jill
start
with
out.
another great start off to this match. A nice bullseye there on her first throw, and for Justin a 4. So he has some work to do.
Yeah, this should be a fun matchup considering how well both of these competitors threw to start the postseason earlier here today.
Yeah, you can see Jill with holding on to the axe just a little bit too long, and
For Jill.
Justin with a great
Bullseye
response there. So all tied up at 10 going into the third throw.
10-10, we've got a football score.
And as we saw, though, before in the last match with Beth Jen, Justin did a great job of responding. So after Jill gets the night started off with a bullseye, Justin responds as well. And Jill just kind of doesn't know what's going on with her actions. She was throwing so consistently. Now it looks like back-to-back 4s for her.
We'll see if this is a 5 for Justin Smith.
For Justin, for Jill.
And it's not. So a couple of 4s from Smith and Kedley to keep it a tied game, 14-all, another football score.
Throw number 4.
It's going around.
Tied at 14.
Well, it is football season.
Exactly. So Justin with a 4 there. Jill lucky that her 4 didn't cost her any points, and looks like she responded nicely there with a 5. And that looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Justin. So
5 Jill.
Jill able to get a point and create some separation. That
Number
is not a
5,
football
Jill
score,
is up
Joe.
by 1.
No, it is not. I mean, you
least
could
not a
probably
traditional one.
get there,
Yes.
but not a traditional football score. So a 1-point lead now. Jill Kedley trying to get back in it here.
You can see there's a 4 there, and Justin with another nice high-pressure
5,
response
Justin.
throw
4
there.
Jill.
So he gets a 5. He ties this thing all up at 23 going into the 6th throw. What else would you expect here, Joey?
Well, this is postseason battle axe. It doesn't get
Come on.
better than this. Smith and Kedley tied at 23. They didn't realize that they need to switch sides, so they switched sides, and we are ready to go here in the second half. Sometimes that happens when you
Yeah,
really
you're
get
so
into
locked
rhythm.
in.
You're not really thinking about how many throws have I had. You're just focused on staying in that rhythm.
Exactly. We see it happen with a lot of competitors. Just focused up on that board, focused up on what they need to do. It looks like that could be a 5 there for Jill if it's popping through the top part of that blade. You can see her
For
crossing her
Justin.
fingers, hoping, and
5 Jill.
wishes do come true, Joey. That is a 5 there for Jill Kedley. So 28-27 going into the 7th throw.
All right, throw number 7. Jill is
Jill
up by
Kedley
1.
with the lead here. 4 throws to go. 6 points still available for both Kedley and Smith on the center bullseye.
And she got pretty close there, Joey. We'll see if it's popping through on the left-hand side of that blade. And then for Justin, that looks like that's going to be a solid 5. You can see
Justin.
Cody making the call right there. And get a closer look at Jill's.
Bullseye
And
Jill.
ruled a bullseye.
So Jill Kedley extending the lead now to 2. 3 throws to go. Justin Smith needs to get hot
Number
here.
8.
Well, we've seen him already make
Jill's
some
up by 2.
high-pressure throws, response throws, so we'll see if he's got another one in him. Down by 2. Doesn't need to get it all back in one throw, although that would be nice, but looks like that's a great throw, but an even better throw, a nice
5,
response.
Jill.
Happy to trade points.
So Justin Smith needs to hope this is a
And
bullseye,
5
but
is
it is not. So still a 2-point deficit for Justin Smith.
Number 9.
Jill Kedley in the
Jill's up by
driver's
2.
seat. No reason for her to go outside here. Just keep your foot on the gas, throw it right down the center, and try and get another 5. Make Justin Smith beat you by throwing a bullseye.
Exactly, and she can see that she kind of left the door open a little bit, throwing a 4
Jill.
there, and Justin electing to still play the middle of the board. I guess he still does have that bullseye, so that makes sense there. So he got a 5, able to get a point on her. So
All right.
comes down to this last throw, Joey.
Jill's up
That
by
makes
1.
things very interesting for this final throw. Smith can score the 6 on the center bullseye. It's Kedley leading by 1.
But you have to play the middle of the board. You can't go for that outside bullseye. You just have to hope that Justin doesn't hit the bullseye. Knowing you do have to make your throw, though. She's got to hope that that's a 5.
The door is open here for Smith.
Ooh, it's so close, Joey.
It's going to come down to a ruling here. We'll have to
Jill.
see whether that's a 6, a 5, and whether it's a 5 or a 4 for Kedley.
We're going to think. I think there was an initial ruling, but I'm going to get a closer look. It looks like that's going to be a 5. Oh, that's so close.
Actually, no, she wins then.
So it is ruled a 5.
Round.
So not a bullseye there
5.
for Justin Smith. So close. We'll see if he wants a second opinion.
Jill takes that round. 48 to 47.
Well, a heartbreaking finish here in game number 1 between Smith and Kedley. He missed sudden death by a matter of centimeters. The good news is it's just game 1, so if that's how game 1 was, can't wait to see what's in store in game 2.
Oh, and we're going to see how game 2 shapes out here. But, yeah, what a tremendous matchup by Jill Kedley and Justin Smith. Just doing a great job of putting up consistent scores there. As you can see, Justin with 4 5s to end his round there. And then for Jill, she did have the 2 bullseyes there on her first and her 7th throw. Just did a really nice job of putting the pressure on Justin and making him throw some really high leverage response throws. And then kudos to Justin Smith. He rose to the challenge. He came up so close to sending this thing into sudden death. And I'm excited to see the next matchup.
Well, you won't have to wait long to see it. Justin Smith going to try and force a game 3 now against Jill Kedley. Kedley looking to send Smith down to the B bracket and stay alive in the A bracket.
Yeah, so Jill with the advantage. 1-0 over Justin Smith here. And this is the thing with this best of 3 competition, Joey. You know, you're just getting right back on that horse. You're starting to throw again. Looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Jill. So Justin has to do a really good job of eliminating the frustration from
4
being that
Jill.
close to going to sudden death and just
5
focus
Justin.
up. It's a new game. It's a blank slate. He does a nice job throwing a 5 there, taking an early 1-point lead in this second matchup.
Yeah, he really took his time preparing for that throw, and it pays off with a 5 for the early lead.
Yeah, you wonder if there's some mental, gymnastics you're going through. Just try to talk yourself off a ledge here of frustration. Just make sure you're cool, calm, and collected here. And it looks like that's going to be a 4 there, so
5 Jill.
a 5 there for Jill.
Squeeze down there. And 4 Justin.
So just like the first matchup, we trade points here, and we're all tied up going into the third throw.
All right. you
And
just
that's a
tied at
low-scoring
9
football score
on
right
round
there.
3.
Yeah, 3 field goals or perhaps a touchdown and a safety.
Yes. We could do a touchdown, missed extra point, and a field goal.
There
too,
you go.
Right?
A lot of ways
A lot
to
of
get
ways
there.
to get there, exactly. But for them, it was a 5 and a 4. It looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Jill. And I do agree with you, Joey. Justin's taking his time more in this
4
matchup than he did in
Jill.
his first.
Bullseye Justin.
Really kind of slowing everything down.
Well, it's working for him thus far. He's got a 2-point lead after throwing a
3rd and
bullseye.
4. Justin's up by 2.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just figuring out that release point, figuring out that, process that you have when you step up to the line. It's always about remembering it and repeating it consistently, and that's a nice throw there by Jill. Looks like that's going to be at least a 5. Don't know if it's popping through there for the bullseye. And for Justin, he's going to be lucky if that's a 5, if it's popping through in the top part of that blade.
Let's take a look.
Cody's going to get a closer look here. And it is ruled a 5.
Well, Justin Smith
All right, 5th throw.
with a fortunate
Justin's up by 2.
ruling there. He gets the 5.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Jill Kedley also throws a 5. Hard to believe that her 5 is just as good as his 5.
Well, doesn't take much. All you got to do is see a little bit of wood popping through on each side of that blade. So we know that Justin's been close on a couple calls. That call goes his
4
way,
Jill, 5
and that looks like a more flush 5 there for Justin Smith.
All right.
So he's able to get another point here on Jill Kedley going into the 6th throw. We'll see if he can force a game 3 here.
So with a 3-point lead, Justin Smith looking to stay alive here. He really threw well in that first half. We'll see how he does here after switching sides for the second half.
Looks like that could be another 5 there for Jill Kedley, and that's a 4 there for Justin.
5 Jill, 4 Justin.
So Jill, that is a 5. So you're able to get a point here on Justin Smith, making it a
Throw
2-point
7.
game.
Justin's up by 2.
Again, just figuring out that release point, living in that 5 ring, hoping your opponent makes a mistake, but being the aggressor, trying to get back in this thing is Jill Kedley.
Yeah, she's right within striking distance now, just trailing by 2. Justin Smith with the pressure here
Bullseye Jill.
as he tries to avoid the B
Justin.
bracket.
Yeah, so that axe getting away from him. I don't think he was going for that
3 over
outside
8, you
bullseye
guys
because
are
he hasn't
tied
hit the
at
first bullseye
33.
yet. So Jill able to capitalize and tie this thing up at 33 going into the 8th throw. We'll see how Justin responds and if Jill can keep applying the pressure.
So it's going to come down to these final 3 throws. That one gets away. Big opportunity here for Smith.
Wow. What a huge
3
mistake there
Jill,
by
4
Jill. And
Justin.
she's lucky that that was only a 4 there for Justin Smith.
Throw number 9.
So Justin
is
able
up
to take
by
the
1.
37-36 lead. But Jill has to be
9.
thinking in the back of her mind that she knows that she left the door open quite a bit there for Justin to come in, and she's lucky that he didn't take even more advantage of it.
Yeah, Smith has to be kicking himself for not at least getting a 5 there.
Right.
Instead, he just has a 1-point lead. And Kedley with a nice response there.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be a 5, and that's a
5
bullseye
Jill,
there for
Bullseye Justin.
Justin. So another great high-pressure throw there by Justin Smith.
All right, last throw.
What a throw there from Smith. Kedley wants to get another look at this
Yeah,
one.
you did.
Get a closer look. It was ruled a 5. So 41-43 going into the 10th throw. The way that these
43
competitors have been
Justin, 41
throwing, I mean,
Jill.
it's such a tough decision here for Jill. Do you go for the outside bullseye? She's calling for the kill shot.
Called on the right.
She is going for the kill shot.
I
We'll
think-
see what Smith does here. He cannot get 6 on the center bullseye.
Yeah.
That makes things a little more interesting.
I mean, I like the aggressive call, but, with Justin, how he's throwing those 4s, you can go for that outside bullseye and tie this thing up, but she's going for the win here. And like he did in his match versus Beth Jen, he goes for that upper right bullseye. And Jill Kedley hits the
Hit.
kill shot for the win.
And 3.
What a shot from Jill
Wow.
Kedley. The shot
Jill
of the
takes that,
tournament thus
49 to
far.
46.
You said it.
A kill shot to send Justin Smith down to the B bracket. Just a heartbreaking loss here for Smith.
Throw of the tournament and possibly throw of the year there for Jill Kedley on the 10th throw. Going for that kill shot, able to come away with the victory 49-46, sending Justin Smith down to the B bracket. But my gosh, this is a heavyweight matchup between these two competitors. I mean, it's really sad that one of these two competitors had to go down to the B bracket because, my gosh, they were throwing lights out. As you can see there, Justin Smith doing a really nice job of coming back in this matchup. Really high-pressure throws. He was the aggressor. And then for Jill Kedley, she was able to hit that bullseye there on her 6th throw. She had that devastating 3 on her 8th throw, but kudos to her. She was able to go for that kill shot, going for the win, knowing that she had an extra game to play if she missed it, but doing a really nice job going for that kill shot, hitting it, and it's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, let's throw it down to an interview with Jill Kedley about winning that one in thrilling fashion with a kill shot.
I'm shaking. I did not expect myself to win 2 rounds. So now that I have, I'm very anxious about it. I'm very excited at the same time. I'm competitive, but I also I feel bad beating somebody. So we'll see how the next round goes. I can't believe I am where I am right now. I'm so excited, and it's such a relief to have get that kill shot when you need it the most, and that's such a good feeling to be able to hit that. And all those chances I've taken throughout the whole season paid off right here.
A big smile on the face of Jill Kedley as she stays alive in the A bracket. We've got a lot more postseason battle acts to come. We'll bring it to you straight ahead here on MC22. Welcome back to a postseason tournament here on Battle Axe to crown a Battle Axe champion. The A bracket and the B bracket are really starting to take form, Bobby.
Absolutely. We saw a tremendous matchup between Justin Smith and Jill Kedley. We're going to be making our way down to the B bracket here in our next segment. So let's get a look at the B bracket here, Joe.
So it is the 8 seed, Beth Jen. She will take on the 3 seed, Michelle Frummelt, who took down Gina Feenstra. Meanwhile, Ann Welp advances over Nancy Kramer. She'll take on Justin Smith, who just got sent down to the B bracket in heartbreaking fashion.
Yeah, in thrilling fashion, Justin Smith got sent down to the B bracket, so he'll face Ann Welp and see who can advance there. But Justin did a nice job of advancing far enough in the A bracket where he doesn't have too much to go to get back into the A bracket. So he's still got his work cut out for him, but it can be done.
Yeah, hard to believe already the 2 and the 3 seed down in the B bracket. Beth Jen, the 8 seed, she'll look to take down the 3 seed, Michelle Frummelt.
Now, we heard from Beth in her interview. She was just working on her rhythm. This is the second match of this match here.
Michelle Frummelt out to the early 1-0 advantage. It's winner go home now in this match for Beth Jen.
And then for Beth, you can see she's kind of working on her release point where she's standing, trying to figure it out because she knows her backup is up against the wall doubly now. And for Michelle Frummelt, it looks like she's found her release point a little bit. That could be a 5 if it's popping through on the bottom part of that blade. And that could be a 5 if it's popping through on the top part of the blade.
5 Michelle. 4
But
Beth.
ruled a 4, so 5 for Michelle and a 4 for Beth. Beth down by 1.
All right, throw number 3.
So Michelle Frummelt starting to find her rhythm here. See if she can keep it going and stay alive in the B bracket. Another nice throw from Frummelt.
4 Beth. Bullseye
Looks like
Michelle.
a bullseye there from Michelle, and then Beth stuck in the vortex to get this match started.
Throw number 4. Michelle's
So
up by
a
3.
fantastic start here from Michelle Frummelt in Game 2 against Beth Jen. She builds a 3-point advantage on her first 3 throws.
Ooh, and a little wobble there in Michelle's axe.
4 and 4.
Lucky, though, that that's stuck in the wood.
Lucky, too, that it
All right,
was
fifth
a
row.
4. Just got the top of that
Michelle's
blade
still
into
by
the
3.
4 ring.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of the body language from Beth Jen. I don't know if she's just dejected to be down in the B bracket, back up against the wall. Throws not
5
going well.
Michelle.
We know how competitive she is, so she just got to focus up,
sure.
start making some high-pressure throws,
And 4
and get
Beth.
back in this thing.
So Michelle Frummelt with another 5. A great first half
All right,
for
time out, switch 'em
Frummelt.
up.
She heads into the second half with a 24-20 advantage.
Yeah, and Beth, maybe she just needs a change of scenery here, so she switches sides and see that. Releasing the axe a little bit too early there is Michelle Frummelt. Looks like that's going to be a 4. We'll see if Beth Jen can capitalize. It looks like her axe sailed on her a little bit as well, so unfortunately for her, that is another 4. And as you can see there on the scorecard, Joey, 6
Number
consecutive
7.
4s. We've seen people stuck in the vortex. She might be trapped in it.
Beth Jen facing elimination here against Michelle Frummelt. Both of these competitors have made nice runs before in the postseason. One of them is about to go home.
And it looks like Beth was able to get out of the vortex there. That looks like that's going to be a 5 there for her. I think Cody's checking to see if that's a bullseye. But unfortunately for... she's going to get a closer look here. See if she wants a second opinion, electing not to.
If it stayed more
Unfortunately for
level,
Beth Jen, though,
it would,
Michelle
yeah.
threw a 5, so she wasn't even able to gain a point on her.
The hourglass starting to run out of sand for Beth Jen.
4 and 4.
The one thing that Beth does have going for her is that we have seen drops out of Michelle. Of course, we
Number
never want to see a drop,
9.
especially in tournament time. But that'd be one way that she can get back into this
Michelle's
matchup
up by
pretty quickly
4.
in one throw. But it looks like she's going to be going for the kill
37-33.
shot here.
Kill shot called on the left.
So the season coming down to this throw from Beth Jen. She's got to hit this kill shot to stay alive.
Nice 5 there from Michelle. So even if Beth hits this, she's still going to be up by 1, and she is off the mark,
5 Michelle.
wide to the
Miss
right.
Beth.
Great football analogy right there as
Throw
well,
10.
Bobby.
Thank you.
Final
I got a bunch of
throw.
them. I wrote them all down in my notebook.
Are you going up?
So Michelle Fremmelt
Called on the
going to be
left.
staying alive in the B bracket. Beth Jen going to be heading home after another great season.
Oh, but a last throw of the league, of course, she hits the
That's a
kill
hit.
shot. So
And a 4.
just like golf, you hit that one last shot that makes you want to come back on the course.
That'll make her even
Michelle
more
takes
hungry
that.
to get back out there
46,
again
41,
next
nice
season.
game.
It's Michelle Fremmelt with a great round of 46 to take down Beth Jen.
Yeah, so Beth Jen will be heading home. Definitely not the tournament she was hoping for. As you can see, there just way too many 4s there on the scorecard, only 1 5. She did hit that kill shot there on her 10th throw, so that's got to be something that she can hang her hat on and build on for next season. But for Michelle Fremmelt, hey, she's doing a good job. She hit that bullseye there on her 3rd throw. She's starting to find her release point. I did see some wobbly axes there in that match, but for her, I think if she can continue to find the middle of that scoreboard, she can make her way out of the B bracket and make a run in the A bracket. So nice season here for Beth Jen, and Michelle Fremmelt survives to advance, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, Michelle getting off to a slow start in the A bracket, but she is finding her rhythm now in the B bracket. Here's Fremmelt on her postseason thus far.
Tonight I started out pretty rough. It was 1-1 against Jill and I, and then I got super anxious and I lost a third. But as soon as I hit B bracket, I felt pretty comfortable and I started throwing for fun, which is what you're supposed to do, and then I won, so I'm feeling better.
She's taking the pressure off and just having fun, and it's paying off.
There's already enough pressure throwing axes. You don't need to put any more added pressure on yourself. So it's nice that she got the monkey off her back, and she's advancing in the B bracket.
Eric the Scope Shizzle taking on Leroy Kedley now. This should be a good one.
First time we get to see Leroy the Lumberjack, and I'm looking forward to this matchup. As you can see, it's all knotted up 1-1, the third game of this match. Eric gets to start off with a 4, and it looks like that could be a 5 there for Leroy, and it is.
Winner take all here in game number 3 between Kedley and Shizzle.
Well, and this is such an important match. You know, we saw Jill Kedley already advancing in the A bracket. Anyone that can advance after this round in the A bracket really sets themselves up nicely, even if they have to go down to the B bracket. It's only a couple games. It's not, 4, games that you have to play. So
4 and 4.
Yeah, that B bracket is a gauntlet if you go down there early. Leroy Kedley clinging to a 1-point lead here in the
Number 3.
early goings.
Leroy's
Winner
up by
go home game against Eric Shizzle. Well, not a winner go home, but winner go to the B bracket.
in this situation, the A bracket is home. So we want to stay at home. And that looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Leroy, and possibly a 5 if it's popping through on the
4
left-hand
Leroy,
side.
5
And
Eric.
rule to 5. I don't think Eric's going to contest it or even get a close enough look to feel bad about it.
Remember 4, you guys are tied at 13.
So 13 all between Kedley and Shizzle after the first 3 throws. Leroy Kedley, the number 1 overall seed, looking to stay alive in the A bracket and win that championship for the first time in his career.
Looks like a nice bullseye there by
4 Leroy.
Eric the Scope. But I don't know if you saw Leroy's axe there, Joey. It looked like it was starting to run up on him a
And
little
bullseye
bit, and that
Eric.
could be dangerous because that could lead to a drop. So fortunately for him, it's stuck in the wood. Unfortunately for him, Eric threw a
All
6
right,
and he
fifth
threw a
throw.
4, so he is down by 2
Eric's
going
up
into
by
the 5th
2.
throw.
Great throw from Eric the Scope, and this is where things can get dangerous for Leroy Kedley. He doesn't like to come from behind. I mean,
Correct.
nobody really does, but he's really not comfortable going outside for the bullseyes.
Right.
So Eric the Scope, if he can just stay in
5
that center
Leroy,
ring,
5 Eric.
he can kind of just cruise to victory.
Yeah, and for Eric, we've seen him
right,
being
touch
really
him up,
aggressive
touch him
going
up.
for those outside bullseyes in the past. I think come tournament time, he's going to be a little more
All right, throw number
conservative,
6.
playing the middle of
Eric's up
that
by
board
2.
and let his opponent make the mistake. For his situation right now, he is more than happy to play the middle of the board. And for Leroy, he's going to stick to the middle. But to your point, Joey, yeah, he's not comfortable going for those outside bullseyes as much as he is playing the center. And a nice throw there by Eric. That could be a bullseye if it's popping through on the left-hand
5
side.
Leroy.
And before Kedley even thinks about going
And
for the
bullseye Eric.
outside bullseyes, he's got to hit that center one.
Correct.
That's exactly what Eric the Scope does on throw number 6,
Throw
extending
7.
his lead to 3.
And so Eric, we'll see with a 3-point lead if he's going to be going for those outside bullseyes yet.
Yeah, Eric the Scope, one of the most aggressive players in the league. We'll see how aggressive he gets here with a 3-point lead against Kedley. Not too aggressive there. He just
Leroy,
throws it right
5
down
Eric.
Broadway. gets himself a 5. Would have been a 6 had he not already hit the bullseye on
Number
his
8,
6th throw.
Eric's up by 4.
Yeah, correct. I think Eric with a 4-point lead is just happy to play the middle of the board. He's found that nice, really consistent release point. He's been living in that 5 ring this match. There's a nice, looks like a bullseye there for Leroy Kedley. And Eric off the mark, but not by
Bullseye,
much. It would have been a
Leroy.
5 either way.
5, Eric.
Leroy able to get a point on him. So 40-37 going into the 9th throw.
Throw number 9.
So decision
Eric's up
time
by
for Leroy
3.
Kedley. He
Absolutely.
can no longer get 6 on the center bullseye. Will he go outside?
I think this throw will determine a lot. He threw a 4 there, holding on the axis a little bit too long. And if that's a 4, then Leroy, I think, has a
4 Leroy,
easier
5
decision to
Eric.
make, but it is a 5, so he is down by 4.
All right,
He
last
needs Eric to
throw.
throw a 4. He
Eric
needs
is
to go
up
for
by
a kill shot
4.
if he wants to stay in the A bracket here. And there's the call.
Kill shot called on the left.
Leroy Kedley going for a kill shot, needing Eric the Scope to throw a 4.
So this is where Eric is so clutch. That's very close. Leroy looks
4
like
and
he's
a
off the
miss.
mark, but it looks like that was initially ruled a 4. Eric gets a closer look, says that that's a 5. We'll get confirmation here.
Either way, it's going to be Eric the Scope staying alive in the A bracket.
All right, sorry.
That was a fun way to
5
finish it.
and a miss.
They threw those axes almost simultaneously.
Yeah, exactly. They did not wait for their opponent to throw. They were focused up on the board. So for Leroy Kedley, he's going to be heading down to the B bracket. He wasn't off by much on that kill shot attempt, though. So I like to see the aggressive move, knowing what he had to do strategically to stay in the A bracket. For him, just not enough 6s on that scorecard. He had that 1 bullseye there on his 8th throw. We're so used to seeing Leroy Kedley come out, throw the middle of the board, create a lead, maintain that lead. We haven't seen him behind very much. So in this matchup versus the Scope, he found himself trailing and wasn't able to come back in this matchup. So for Eric the Scope, he advances in the A bracket. He had those 2 bullseyes there on his 4th and his 6th throw. But as you can look there, Joey, from the 3rd throw on, everything 5 and up. So if that's the kind of throwing he's going to be doing, he might be coming home with a cup.
We're getting much closer to bringing you a Battle Axe champion. The next few matches in this postseason coming up straight ahead here on MC22. Welcome back to Postseason Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Dania alongside Bobby the Blade Bradford. We are getting awfully close to crowning a Battle Axe champion. The A bracket and the B bracket really taking form. Just a couple competitors left in the A bracket. Everyone else down in the B bracket trying to fight their way back to the A bracket. Let's take a look at the updated B bracket. There it is, Michelle Frummel, the 3 seed. We just saw her advance past Beth Jen. Leroy Kedley now down to the B bracket. He'll take on Frummelt in a 1 versus 3 matchup. And Welp, the 4 seed, advancing over Nancy Kramer. She'll take on Justin Smith in a 2-4 matchup.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup here in the B bracket to work their way back to the A bracket. We'll see who comes out the victor in the A bracket. It'll be Eric the Scope Schissel facing Jill Kedley, but that is for later, and we got a B bracket matchup coming up.
Let's get right to it. Our first matchup here in the B bracket, it's Ann Welp, and she will be taking on Justin Smith.
Yeah, so Justin and Ann both throw two great matchups, although they did fall down to the B bracket. As you can see, this thing is all tied up 1-1, so this is the deciding game. Winner advances in the B bracket. The loser, their season is done.
High pressure throws here coming for Smith and Welp.
So 4 to get the night started there for Ann, and it looks like that's going to be a 5 there for Justin Smith.
So Justin Smith out to the early lead here in a winner-take-all Game 3 against Ann Welp. Smith has really played well this postseason,
Correct.
but he finds himself in an elimination game here.
Well, in the match that we saw with Ann Welp versus Eric the Scope Schissel, she was really aggressive going for that kill shot at the end. I like that aggressive mentality in the tournament. You know you need those throws, and it's definitely carrying over to Ann in the B bracket, as you can see in our third game here. She's putting up a fight. She's staying consistent with her throw. She's not going to be pushed around. Looks like that's going to be a 4. You can see her shaking her head, knowing that she can do better. What a great throw there by Justin.
Can't do much better than that for Justin Smith. Cody going to make sure that's a bullseye.
Bullseye, Justin.
Indeed it is. The first bullseye of this game between Smith and Welp, and it extends the Smith lead to 4.
So a 4 there for
Throw number
Ann and
4.
a 6 there for
Justin's up by
Justin.
2.
So a really nice
Or 3.
bullseye there for him.
So Ann Welp down by 4. Not where she would like to be, but still a lot of axes to throw here in this winner-take-all game.
5 and 5.
Fortunately for her, there's more throws to come. It looks like that could be a 5 if it's popping through in the
Fifth
top part of
row.
that blade. And that
Justin's
is
up by
definitely a
3.
5 there for Justin. Ruled a 5, so Ann's going to run up real quick and take that blade out just in case Justin wants to challenge it. But we have a 21-17 going into the 5th throw.
Justin Smith happy to trade points now with Ann Welp.
5, Justin.
That could be a 5 that's popping through. Probably a 4.
Ann.
Looks like that's going to be another 5 there for Justin as well. But very close.
All right,
This
touch
is
'em up, switch 'em up.
the tale of Ann's tournament so far is close, but not enough.
Well, a great first half for Justin Smith. 26 on the board for a 5-point lead heading into the second half here. Ann Welp needs to get awfully hot in a hurry to keep her season alive.
All right,
And that's a
bullseye
good start
Ann.
there. That's at
5,
least a
Justin.
5. We'll get a closer look, and that's a definite bullseye popping through on the right-hand side there for Ann Welp. And
Throw number
fortunately
7.
for Justin, that was ruled a 5.
Justin's up
Very
by
close to
3.
being a 4, but Ann doing a nice job of getting a point there. So 31-27 going into the 7th throw.
4 throws to go. How aggressive will Ann Welp get? She can't get 6 on the center bullseye anymore.
Well, we've seen Justin make some really
5
high-pressure
Ann,
response
4
throws, so
Justin.
we'll see what he comes up with. And that is a 4 and a 5 there for Ann. So Ann able to get
Number
another
8,
point here, so
Justin's
making
up
this
by
a
2.
2-point game going into the 8th throw. So maybe she just needed a change of scenery.
Ann Welp right within striking distance. Changing sides, getting to Justin Smith just a little bit. That pressure has to be felt by him as
5
well.
Ann.
And looks like that's going to be a 5 and
5
possibly a bullseye there for Justin Smith, but ruled a 5. So a couple of 5s there for Justin and Ann. We have a 40-38 game
9,
going into the
Justin's up
9th
by
throw
2.
here. This is high-pressure throws. We know this is game 3. So everyone taking their time, making sure that they have everything figured out, and being aggressive, going for that outside bullseye.
I think she got it,
I
too.
do.
Justin, bullseye
She
Ann.
did. So she ties this thing up 44-44, which is a tremendous job of Ann Welp coming back in this thing.
All right. 10th
What a
throw.
shot
You guys
from
are
Ann
tied at
Welp. You knew she was going to
44.
have to make some big shots to get back in it, and that is exactly what she's done. It's 44 all now, heading into the 10th throw.
Yeah, just a great job. I mean, no matter the outcome of this match, Ann just doing a great job of coming back in this thing, and another great throw there. Looks like that's going to be a 5. And that is a 5 for Justin Smith, and
5
we're going to be
Ann.
going to some sudden death here, Joey.
Cody going to check to see if it's a bullseye
Five.
because Justin still had that 6
He did.
available, but it is a 5.
That
And
is
we
a
are going
second.
to sudden death with the season on the line for Justin Smith and Ann Welp.
Yeah, you can see Justin was really close there on that bullseye, but from the action cam, we could see that it was a 5. So closest to the kill shot wins. The winner advances, and the loser has to go home. We'll see Ann off the mark. She's got to hope for a drop from Justin. Justin looks like he's going to come away the victor on this and advance to the B bracket, but you got to tip your cap to Ann Welp. What a tremendously fought match there.
Welp, see you later.
That's a good one. You've been saving that one, haven't you, Joey?
I have. I've been thinking of that all season. Ann Welp with a great run here in the postseason, but it's Justin Smith getting the victory in sudden death to keep his season alive.
Yeah, you can see there, Ann, with her first 5 throws, she had 3 4s and 2 5s, but from the 6th throw on, nothing but 6s and 5s, so she definitely turned it on, did a tremendous job of coming back in this match. And then for Justin, just did a great job of living in that 5 ring, only 2 4s on his scorecard. Definitely something that is championship material. So he advances in the B bracket. He'll face the winner of Leroy Kedley and Michelle Fremelt. And this should be a pretty exciting finish to this tournament here, Joey.
Yeah, and Justin Smith getting right back out there. He's going to take on Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley We talked about what a gauntlet the B bracket is.
Right.
That's what makes it so hard. You win a thrilling match like that, you have to get right back out there and do it all over again.
Yeah, so Leroy Kedley was able to defeat Michelle Fremelt, and looks like that's going to be a 5 there for Leroy to get the ninth star, and looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Justin. But yeah, to your point, Joey, that it is a gauntlet. You just have to get right back on that horse,
4
keep
Justin,
throwing.
5 Leroy.
It's really nice when you're consistent with your release point and you have it all figured out. It's a little bit daunting when you're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it can play to your advantage or it can really be a detriment, especially when fatigue starts to play a factor, which there's no doubt it does when you're playing this many matches.
And looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Leroy and a nice 5 there for Justin.
Sneak in there.
Cody's going to get a closer look, possibly popping through on the bottom part of that
For
blade there for Leroy, but it is ruled a 4. So all tied up going into the third throw.
All right.
And this is the time of night, Joey, where
Throw number 3.
you know, the
guys are
bracket has shrunk
tied.
so much. All these competitors are
At
so
9.
familiar with each other. These games are all high pressure. Everyone is on edge. There's a tension in the room.
This is what they
5
play
Leroy,
all season for,
4
these kind of
Justin.
moments as they look to win the Battle
Number
Axe
4.
Cup.
Well, as they say, iron sharpens iron, so these competitors have done a really nice job with these 7 weeks leading up to the Week 8 tournament of just honing their game, really working on their craft. It looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Leroy Kedley
4 and 4.
and another 4 there for Justin. So you got to wonder if
Number
fatigue's setting in
5.
there for Justin Smith.
Yeah, he had been hitting that 5 and 6 ring so consistently, but he's stuck in the vortex right now against Leroy Kedley.
Well, you can see there's a little less authority with this throw. You know, Leroy's always going to come in there 120% throwing. For Justin, it looks like he's taking a little something off here. And
5 Leroy.
wow.
Drop.
Well, a devastating drop from Justin Smith.
All right.
Looked like it would have been a 5
up, so-
if it had stuck in the
Press 'em up, switch 'em up.
stuck in the board there, but as you can see, it just slowly slipped out. Just a devastating drop for Justin
Switch 'em
Smith.
up.
They got to switch him up. 23-17. You can see Leroy trying to console him a little bit. You got to get that out of your head. You still have 5 throws. You can make this up.
Leroy Kedley, a class act, and he's looking to put Justin Smith away here. This is exactly the position Kedley likes to be in. Once he's got that lead, it can be awfully hard to come back on him because
Right.
he hits that 5 and 6 ring
Leroy.
just about as consistently as anybody in this tournament.
And Justin able to come back with a nice response. As you can see there from that side cam, Leroy's throw was very, very, very close to being a bullseye. Elected
Number
not to
7,
get a second
Leroy's
opinion.
Up by 5.
Takes his 5. Still 28-23. But yeah, just a tremendous response there by Justin after that devastating drop.
5 Justin.
Looks like that's going to be a
Bullseye,
bullseye there for
Leroy.
Leroy if it's popping through on the right-hand side, and ruled it a bullseye.
Well, down by
Remember,
6
East.
points, the way Kedley is throwing, Smith is going to have to make some big shots, either the outside bullseyes or the kill shots. And he's going for the kill shot right now. He's not waiting around at all.
Well, and I think if I remember correctly, Joey, if you have a drop in a game, you can go for the kill shot 3 times. So
That is correct.
So he's electing to be the
5
aggressor, going for the
Leroy.
kill shot there. He's off the
Miss
mark.
Justin.
But I like the call, though, being aggressive, trying to get back in this thing in one throw.
Throw number 9.
Going to go for it again, if for nothing else than just your mental sanity.
And take advantage of the opportunity to throw 3 of the kill shots. Because if you hit 2 of those 3,
Yeah.
you've got a chance. Oh, and he might have hit that one had
Yeah.
it stuck in.
5
But
Justin.
another drop for Justin Smith. And things are unraveling
Last
quickly
throw.
here. Leroy Kedley is going to be moving on. Smith going to go for one final kill shot. Try to finish out this season on a positive note.
And Leroy's going up as
Going on
well,
both
trying to get
sides.
some free practice in, knowing that he's going to be advancing in the B bracket. He is off the mark, holding on to the axe just a little bit too much. And for Justin, it's been the tale of his
Miss,
tournament.
miss.
Just so close. He's off the mark by just a little bit. Unfortunately
right,
for
Leroy
him, his
takes
season
that.
is coming to an end.
44-28.
Leroy Kedley staying alive. He wins it 44-28 and gives Justin Smith a hug after a great run from Smith.
Well, Leroy knew that's how Justin did not want to go out. I mean, you never want to see drops in a tournament. You never want to see drops at all, but especially at this stage of the tournament, you know, you fought so hard to come back in the B bracket, and you have the devastating drop on your 5th throw. You go for the kill shot on the 8th throw, you're off the mark, and then you have another drop going for the kill shot on the 9th throw. That 28 obviously is not indicative of the kind of caliber thrower that Justin Smith is. Unfortunately for him, he just wasn't able to recover fully from that drop on the 5th throw, so his season will come to a close. But for Leroy Kedley, this is the kind of game he wants to play. You know, he wants to be in the lead, be the aggressor, keep putting those positive points on the board in that 4, 5, and 6 ring, and that's exactly what he did, and he advances.
Well, we are down to our final 3 competitors. Which one of them will claim the Battle Axe champion? Find out straight ahead here on MP22. Welcome back to the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford. We are about to crown a Battle Axe champion here in this double elimination postseason tournament. We're down to the final 3 competitors, Bobby.
Yeah, we are, and we're getting set to finalize the A bracket here between our next 2 competitors, and let's get right to it.
It's going to be Eric the Scope Shizzle taking on Jill Kedley. These are the final 2 competitors left in the A bracket. The winner of this one will earn a spot in the championship. The loser will go down to the B bracket to face Leroy Kedley.
Yeah, and as well as Eric Shizzle has played in this A bracket, I think it goes without saying that Jill Kedley has put together probably the most impressive tournament so far.
Yeah, it's been an incredible run for Jill Kedley. She's been really dialed in, but she is down 1-0 here against Eric the Scope Shizzle. She's got to win this game to force a game 3 if she wants to stay in that A bracket. If not, she's going down to the B bracket to face guess who?
Exactly.
Her husband.
A familiar foe. But yeah, she's already put herself in
5,
really
Eric,
good position
4,
no
Jill.
matter the outcome of this match with Eric the Scope, because I think she's in uncharted water for what she was expecting out of this tournament. And if she can come out the victor and win the A bracket, it sets her up in a real nice position to come home with the championship cup. Looks like that could be a 5 if it's popping through the left-hand side.
One thing is for sure at this point, there will be a
5,
Kedley
Eric, 5, Jill.
playing in the championship match.
That's true. Very good point, Joey. Well, and for Jill, again,
Number 4,
regardless of what
Eric's
her
up by 2.
expectations were in this tournament, being in this position in the tournament is something she's never been in before. But for Eric the Scope, this is very comfortable territory. So we'll see how it plays out with the rest of this match. But getting used to success is definitely an important part of this game.
4, Eric, 5, Jill.
So Jill Kedley able to pick up a
5th
point
throw,
there.
Eric's up by
She
1.
cuts the deficit to 1.
Yeah, Eric leaving the door open there for Jill Kedley, and kudos to Jill for capitalizing on it. She'd like to close out this round with a nice bullseye.
Jill Kedley taking her time.
Well, with every throw, each throw gets more and more pressure put behind it.
5, Eric, 4, Jill.
So Eric able to get that point back, 25-23
Touch
going
monster
into
from
the
up.
turn. Jill didn't miss that 5 by much, though.
Eric the Scope almost dropped his axe there. That could have been.
Devastating. Yeah. We don't want any kind of drops. You don't want drops taking it out of the board, throwing it at the board.
Yeah, if you're going to have a drop, you want it to be while you're throwing at the board, though.
There's that bullseye that Jill's been searching for. See how Eric responds, of course, with a
Bullseye and
flush
bullseye.
bullseye himself. Just another heavyweight matchup here, 31-29 going into the 7th throw. You can feel the pressure in the room, Joey.
It is palpable. We'll see how aggressive Jill Kedley gets here, trailing by 2 with 4 throws to go.
Oh, wow. What?
That one really got away from her. It's a 1.
Jill.
Wow.
5,
Eric the Scope taking advantage. He throws a 5.
You okay?
What a turn of events here.
Wow.
Turn
Just
Number
like that, a
8.
2-point
Eric's up
lead
by
for
6.
Shizzle becomes a 6-point advantage.
Yeah, Jill obviously holding on to that axe just a little bit too long. She had the throw of the tournament so far, and that's a devastating throw of the tournament because that left the door wide open for Eric to run away with this thing, although he does follow it up with a 4, so got to be aggressive.
4,
She's going
Eric.
for that outside bullseye,
Jill.
and a 2 there for Jill. So an 8-point lead, I think you got to go for it, right?
No reason not to. Jill Kedley
Hold on
hit
left.
the huge kill shot earlier to get herself to this point. We'll see if she's got a little more magic left here with the season on the line against Eric the Scope.
Well, she's the only one so far that's hit a kill shot, so let's see if she can go 2 for 2 here. Oh, and she is off the
center
mark,
forward.
not missing by much, though.
So Eric the Scope
Last
Shizzle,
throw.
he'll be heading to the championship. Jill Kedley going up for the kill
32,
shot.
34.
She'll look to close things out on a positive note.
32, 34. Sorry, 32.
And
44.
Eric the Scope making sure that he can go for the kill shot without putting himself in jeopardy of losing. Indeed, he can with
Right.
the lead that he has at this point. He's going to use this as an opportunity to prepare for a potential kill shot in the championship.
I was wondering if Jill elected to stay down, because if Eric's going for the kill shot, if she wants to try to just get points back here, so it's a bit vague right now if Jill's going for a kill shot. Well, I guess we'll see after the throw.
Well, if she hits it, I
Missed
think
on
we'll know
four.
that she was going for it, but it looks like, yeah, she was not.
Yeah, she.
Meanwhile, the Scope did. And it all adds up to
Eric
a
wins
victory for Eric the Scope
44-36.
Shizzle, 44-36. He's going back to the championship.
Yeah, so Eric is the champion of the A bracket, as you can see there. He had bullseyes there on his first and sixth throw. A couple fours there on the eighth, ninth throw. Definitely not the trend that you want to have going into the championship finals here. But he'll take the victory, 44-36 over Jill Kedley. Jill will head down to the B bracket, but she only has one game to play before she has an opportunity to get back to the B bracket. So she'll face Leroy Kedley. She just had that devastating throw on the seventh throw, and then she followed it up by being aggressive, going for that outside bullseye, but didn't hit it and ended up with a 2. So we always say, the match comes down to one throw, and that's that one throw right there that left the door open for Eric the Scope to come away the victor.
Yeah, she was only down by 2 at that point, and then things obviously unraveled from there. Jill Kedley and Leroy Kedley, husband and wife, going head-to-head here with a spot in the championship on the line.
So this is game number 2. Leroy's up 1-0. And we'll see here how this plays out. These two have obviously played each other a lot throughout the season. And Jill with a nice bullseye to get it
Leroy,
started.
Bullseye. Jill.
So coming back with that aggressive play. And, of course, Leroy loves to see Jill do well.
Throw number 2.
So Jill Kedley out to the early advantage. She can extend that lead by just a few points. She should be able to earn a spot back in the championship.
Looks like
5,
that's going to be a
Jill,
5 there for
bullseye,
Jill. And
Leroy.
a bullseye ruled for Leroy, as we saw there from the action cam. Looked like it was popping through on
Throw
the
number 3. you guys are
right-hand
tied
side.
at 11.
So Leroy Kedley says not so fast. He answers with a bullseye of his own.
I like to see you do well, but I like to do well as well. So Leroy Kedley with an authoritative throw there. Looks like that's going to be a 4, and looks like that could be a 5 there for
4,
Jill if it's
Leroy.
popping through on the top part of that blade.
5, Jill.
And ruled a 5.
So Jill Kedley back in front now after a
number
4
4,
from
Jill's up by 1.
Leroy Kedley. Wonder how much they go home and just throw axes.
We'll ask him that in the interview portion here. But it looks like that's going to be a 5 there for Leroy. One thing we do know is that they both love
5,
throwing axes, and they
Leroy.
love competing. And that's what we love to see here on Battle Axe.
5, Jill.
Yeah, there was a few seasons
Fifth
back, they
row,
had a
Jill's
throwing
still up
range
by
in their
1.
garage.
They did, and it worked out well for them. And it looks like that's going to be possibly a 4, maybe a 5 if it's popping through on the bottom part of that blade there for Leroy Kedley,
5,
and that is for
Leroy.
sure a
4,
4 there
Jill.
for Jill. So
All
Leroy
right.
able to get a point,
Cut
tie
him
this
up, push him
thing
up.
up 25-25 going into
Throw
the
number
turn.
6. You guys are tied at
Here comes no
25.
surprise.
It doesn't get better than this. A tied game heading into the second half. A trip to the championship on the line between the Kedleys.
Now, looks like that could be a 4 there for Leroy, so Jill has an opportunity, and that could be at least be a 5, if not a 6 there for Jill, so possibly a 2-point swing here.
5, Leroy.
But ruled a 5 for Leroy.
Bullseye, Jill.
And yeah, as you can see there from the side cam, that is definitely a bullseye there for Jill, so still able to gain a point, but it probably would have been nice to get 2.
So Jill Kedley back in front by a point, but she has been unable to build any greater advantage.
Just a great high-pressure response throw there by Leroy.
Yeah,
5,
Leroy
Jill.
has had the answer
Bullseye,
every
Leroy.
time he's needed to come up with the big throw, and he has done just that once again. Another bullseye, 36 all,
Remember,
3
you
throws
guys
to
are tied
go.
at 36.
Well, and kudos to Jill, too. She had that devastating 1 in her match with Eric the Scope, but it looks like she's fully rebounded from that, totally pushed it out of her mind, and is just focused up on this matchup. And that's going to be a
5,
4 and a
Leroy.
5 there for
4,
Leroy.
Jill.
So 40-41 going into the 9th throw.
Throw number number 9. Leroy is up by 1.
When do you want to put it all on the line? Start going for those outside bullseyes. You can see she's thinking about it, shaking her head. And Leroy, of course, his decision was made before the throw was even made.
That makes things a little easier here for Jill. I think you should go for the outside bullseye, and
She
it looks like
does.
that's exactly what she
5,
did.
Leroy.
And it looks like she
3,
might have hit it on the
Jill.
bottom part of that blade, but ruled a 3 there for Jill. Very, very, very close to being a
Number
bullseye,
10,
but that's the move you
throw.
had to make, and knowing that you can go
short,
for the
hold
kill
on,
shot
hold
here.
on, all right.
So Jill lining up for the kill shot. Let's see if she has one more magic throw in her.
So the door is open. Can Jill Kedley pull off another thriller?
Oh.
She might have, but it
Oh.
looks like she missed it just outside.
It's so close.
For
Cody's going to get a
Leroy.
closer look here.
I'm sorry. Miss.
Oh, and with a
Jill.
heavy heart, he says miss.
Well, an incredible run comes to
Wow.
an
Leroy
end
takes
for
that.
Jill Kedley.
50
She
to
takes the
43.
bronze as Leroy Kedley advances 50 to 43. Leroy Kedley heading to the championship.
Yeah, just a tremendous tournament here for Jill Kedley. And she finishes third place. Definitely a tremendous tournament here for her. She had that bullseye on her first throw and her sixth throw. She came out the gate really hot in this matchup. She did have that 3 on her ninth throw going for that outside bullseye. She was very close to that. That would have put some serious pressure there on Leroy Kedley. But for her, she did everything right. She just came up a little bit short. Unfortunately for her, her season ends, but third place is nothing to sneeze at. And then for Leroy Kedley, he gets all the way back to the A bracket. Well, he'll face a familiar foe in Eric the Scope Shizzle. He had a nice round of 50, as you can see, with the 2 bullseyes and only 2 4s on the scorecard. So we'll see how it shapes up, but it should be a great championship matchup.
It'll be Leroy Kedley versus Eric the Scope Shizzle for the championship. We'll bring it to you straight ahead here on Battle Axe. Welcome back to Battle Axe here at the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford. It's time to crown a Battle Axe champion. The championship match is set. Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley taking on Eric the Scope Shizzle.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. We saw one of their matches already in the A bracket. And as we join in, this is the second match of the best of 3 here for the championship. Eric has a 1-0 lead. And it looks like a nice bullseye there for Leroy Kedley and a bullseye there
No
for
bullseye.
Eric the Scope. So championship form for both competitors.
That's a
This
great
is
way to
exactly
start the
what
match.
you would expect from these two competitors here in the championship. So no longer can either of them score 6 on the center bullseye for the rest of the first half of this game.
And so Leroy going to play the middle of that board. Looks like that's going to be a 5. And then for the Scope, he's just going to kind of slow play this. It looks like that's
5
going to be a
Leroy
4
for
off the
Eric.
mark a little bit. We saw those 4s starting to creep in on Eric the Scope a little bit in some of his last
3.
matches.
Yeah, this is a really interesting and compelling matchup in the fact that Leroy Kedley was one of the least aggressive players throughout the season. Eric the Scope, one of the most, if not the most aggressive player. So we'll see how aggressive he gets here against Leroy
5
Kedley.
Leroy for
Another
Eric.
4 there for Eric. But yeah, to your point, Joey, it seems like he's reined back his aggressiveness a little bit, kind of waiting for his opponent to make a mistake or him to be forced
Number
to
4.
be aggressive and make those
Leroy's up by 2.
really dangerous throws. But Leroy Kedley doing a nice job of putting the pedal to the metal. Looks like that's going to be
5
another
and
bullseye
5.
there, but rule to 5, obviously.
Fifth
So that keeps it
row.
a 2-point lead for Leroy
up by 2.
Kedley. It looks like Eric the Scope is doing some thinking.
Yeah, I think the mastermind is trying to figure some strategy out.
Probably punching in the algorithms in his head.
Looks like that's another 5 there for Leroy and going to be
5
a
and
5
5.
there for Eric the Scope.
Very nice. All right. Touch him up, switch him up.
Well, Leroy Kedley will take a 2-point advantage into the second half here of game number 2 in this best of 3 championship series. Eric the Scope with a little work to do if he wants to put this one away. Otherwise, we're going to a winner-take-all game 3.
Looks like that's going to be possibly a 4, maybe a 5 for Leroy if it's popping through, and a nice flush bullseye there for Eric the
Bullseye
Scope.
Eric.
So it'll be a big ruling here from Cody because this could tie this thing up in a one throw.
5,
But
Leroy.
you can see it there from the side cam. That's definitely a 5.
So just like that, it's a 1-point game now. So Eric the Scope right within striking
All right,
distance.
throw number 7.
Yeah, Eric's going to probably continue to play the middle of that board. Doesn't need to be aggressive right now.
Yeah,
Just
got
has-
a couple throws to play with.
Correct.
Just hope that maybe Leroy throws a 4 and gives you an opportunity to tie it.
And that's exactly what just happened.
4, Leroy.
Leroy, you
5,
can
Eric.
see kind of a little frustrated there. He knows that he had Eric the Scope
All
on
right,
the
number
ropes, but
8,
he
you
left the
guys are
door
tied
open,
at
and Eric tied this thing
35.
up.
So no reason for the Scope to get aggressive here now. He can continue to throw right down Broadway. Leroy Kelly, though, can still get the 6 on that center bullseye. That could be a big difference maker.
It looks like that's going to be a couple
5 and
5s
5.
there.
Throw
But yeah,
number
Eric is
9.
doing a really, really nice job of waiting for his opponent to throw. He's
No, he's
judging
not.
his decision making off of what Leroy does. And of course, we know Leroy likes to grip it and
It's
rip
number
it.
9.
Just get right up there and throw that axe. So Eric is more than happy just to wait and calm himself and find his release point. Looks like that's going to be a 5 there for
Eric.
both competitors.
Sneak
Cody's
in
going to
there.
get a closer look, but it looked like it's popping through in the
Yes,
top
it
part of
did.
that
5,
blade.
Leroy.
Well, 45 all heading into the final throw.
All right.
Leroy Kedley can still
Number
get the 6
10.
points, though, on the center
Tied at
bullseye.
45. Good luck.
Yeah, this is a big throw, obviously, for Leroy. He does have that bullseye available, and he is off the mark. It looks like that's going to be a 5. And then for Eric the Scope, he's just happy to throw that 5 right there.
5 and 5.
Yeah, the Scope happy to go to sudden death here
Yeah.
with Leroy Kedley.
guys are-
50 all
Well, being
in
aggressive,
game number 2.
yeah, being aggressive going for that outside
Sudden
bullseye at that
death.
situation just wasn't a prudent move. He did have obviously a game to work with, but Eric is much more. We don't call him Scope for no reason. He is very comfortable going for that kill shot. So hitting that 5, sending this thing into sudden death was a no-brainer. Ooh, but Leroy, I think he hit it. Oh yeah, you can definitely see there from the action cam.
Leroy takes that.
Wow, what a tremendous throw.
Leroy Kedley with a big-time kill shot to keep his championship hopes alive. We're going to winner-take-all game 3 here for the ship.
It must be something with the Kedleys and up against the wall kill shots, because just like Jill did in her matchup with Justin Smith, Leroy Kedley comes up with the kill shot when he needs it to send this thing into a 3rd game in this championship match. As you can see from Leroy, only the 1-4 on his scorecard on that 7th throw. Everything else was 5s. He did have that 1 bullseye. I'm sure he'd like to have a couple more on that scorecard. But for him, just a tremendous job of hitting that kill shot when he needed to send this thing into the 3rd game. And then for Eric the Scope, you could see him. He was strategizing this entire time, waiting for Leroy to throw, figuring out what he needed to do. I think he made the right call on that 10th throw to play the middle of the board, send that thing into the sudden death. As you saw from his throw, Eric wasn't that far off, but Leroy comes out the victor, and we're going to the rubber match.
It all comes down to this. Leroy Kedley and Eric Shizzle, a winner-take-all game for the Battle Axe Championship of the World.
So you can hear the hush of the crowd. Everyone knows what's on the line. That was a huge comeback victory there for Leroy Kedley, and looks like Eric the
Bullseye
Scope
Eric,
is going to start
4,
off with a
Leroy.
bullseye, and Leroy with the 4.
Well, a great start
number
for
2.
Eric the Scope.
Yeah, finding that bullseye in your first throw really allows Eric to kind of dictate what he wants to do. You know, if Leroy can't find that 5 and 6 ring consistently, then we know Eric can start to pop outside, go for
5,
those
Eric. 4, Leroy.
outside bullseyes to really put the pressure on him.
Yeah, we're only a couple throws
Throw number
into this
3.
match, but this already feels like the danger
is up
zone
by
for
3.
Leroy Kedley. You cannot
Exactly.
get behind more than 3 points here against the Scope and expect yourself to have a shot to win.
Well, as we mentioned earlier in the episode as well, it's just not Leroy's game to come back.
5,
You know, he
Eric.
wants to be out in front and keep that pedal to the
See,
metal.
that snuck in there.
But unfortunately for him, it looks like that could be another 4, possibly a 5,
5,
and
Leroy.
ruled a 5 there. So fortunately for him, he's able to get out of the vortex early. But yeah, to your point, Joey, he doesn't want to be down by
Remember 4,
3, 4
Eric's up
points.
by
He wants to be up
3.
by 3, 4 points so he can keep playing the middle of that board.
Eric the Scope looking to win another championship here. He's closing in.
Looks like that's
5,
going to be a
Eric.
4 there
4,
for Leroy.
Leroy.
And Eric with a 5, so able to get another point, 21-17.
5th throw. Eric
That's a
is up by
closer look. I
4.
bet it was little closer to being a bullseye than it appeared to from the wide shot there. But
You got to wonder if fatigue is playing any factor.
True.
Eric the Scope has been hanging out in the A bracket, waiting for this
5,
championship
Eric,
match
4,
for a little
Leroy.
while. Leroy had to go down and play a couple extra
All right,
matches to
guys.
get here.
Touch
very
them up, touch
true,
them
and
up.
also, you know, Leroy's got that adrenaline coming from that kill shot that he had in the second match. So you got to wonder if those nerves are kind of coming back to earth a little bit here. But he's down by 5 with 5 throws to go. We saw Ann Welp do it in her matchup with Justin Smith. You know, just start to come back, start to chip away at it. That's a good start there for Leroy. But Eric with a great answer.
Yeah, you don't have to get it all on one throw. Every point can make a big
Double
difference
bullseye.
when you've got 5 throws to go and a couple bullseyes here. So a great throw from Kedley, but he's unable to chip into that deficit.
Yeah, and you could see there from that side cam that bullseye was just barely hitting that bullseye. But for him, unable to get a point on Eric the Scope. Looks like that could another nice throw there by Eric
5
the
and
Scope.
5.
It's going to be a 5 and another nice 5. But Leroy cannot trade points with Eric the Scope at this point. He needs to start cutting into that lead.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something that he
Score
was
is
not
37
comfortable
Eric,
doing the entire
32
season.
Leroy.
He's going to have to go outside and hit some of those bullseyes or count on getting a couple of kill shots.
And he has the time, I think, in this throw to go for one of those outside bullseyes, but he elects to play the middle of the board. And at this point, Eric can
5 and
smell the
5.
victory. He's more than happy to play the middle of the board and play trade
Throw
points
number
with Leroy.
9.
Time running
is up
out
by
here on
5.
Leroy Kedley.
Are you going
2
up,
throws
Leroy?
to go, and he's going to go for the kill shot right here. He's got to have
He did
this.
that.
He does have to have this. He's down by 5.
I don't know if
So we have to hit this, and he's got to hope Eric hits a 3. But Eric is not going to oblige, and Leroy is off the mark.
5 and a mess.
And I think Eric has another championship waiting for him.
Eric
throw.
the Scope Shizzle going up for a
Kill shot called on
kill
both
shot
sides.
here to close things out as he brings home another championship.
Leroy's not going to go down without some energy, so he's getting the crowd revved up. He's off the mark there on the kill shot. And for Eric the Scope, we're going to have to get a closer look here
Miss Leroy, miss
and rule a
Eric.
miss there for Eric the Scope, but he is more than happy to take that because he, Joey, is our 2024 Fall League
Eric
champion.
takes that 47.
Congrats
37.
to Eric the Scope Shizzle. He is back on top of the Battle Axe Mountain.
Yeah, just a tremendous job by Eric the Scope of really navigating the A bracket. This is his first championship with his left arm, so now he is the first person in the world, Joey, to have a championship in Battle Axe with the right arm and the left arms. So definitely something to be proud of this achievement. And for him, you know, he had those 2 bullseyes to get the first throw and the 6th throw started, and then nothing but 5s, just consistently playing the middle of the board. So whatever little vortex issues he was having earlier on in the A bracket, he fixed in this matchup to take home the victory 47-37. And then for Leroy, just a tremendous tournament, a tremendous season. He did a great job of navigating himself back from the B bracket to the A bracket. Unfortunately for him, he falls short, but second place is nothing to hang your hat on.
Eric the Scope Shizzle, a champion here once again on Battle Axe. You think about how hard it is just to win a championship, let alone to do it with your non-dominant hand. What a run here from the Scope for another championship. Let's throw it down to an interview with Eric the Scope Shizzle on winning another championship.
It's all down to practice, but honestly, everybody else here was throwing lights out just as well. You saw a lot of 50s, 51s out there. You know, that's straight middle the whole way through. You know, for those of you that don't know, you're not missing at all at that point. So to run into somebody playing that game, you know, some of the games that were played that, you know, against me and Leroy that were some really good ones. He took me out playing my own game with the kill shot. So you had me worried going up against him again and again, you know. So I'm pretty grateful to have everybody here throwing their best tonight. There was nobody that competed tonight that did not throw. They were all throwing lights out. It was fantastic. So it could have easily been somebody else too.
Another great tournament here on Battle Axe as Eric the Scope brings the championship home once again. For Bobby the Blade and the entire MC22 crew, I'm Joey Danya signing off. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here for more Battle Axe on MC22.